today's video, we are going to discuss the sample question paper of this year for Term 1 Chemistry as released by CBSE. This question paper will be discussed in 4 parts on our YouTube channel. So for next parts and more such amazing videos, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now let's discuss this question paper. It has a total of 55 questions, out of which we have to attempt 45 questions. It's divided in 3 sections. Section A has 25 questions, out of which we have to attempt any 20. Section B has 24 questions, out of which we have to attempt any 20. Section C has just 6 questions, out of which we have to attempt any 5 questions. And all questions contain equal mark and there is no negative marking. So let's discuss it section wise. This video will only have first 15 questions and next parts will contain further questions. So let's discuss the first question. It states, which of the following statements is true? Let's look at the statements. Melting point of phosphorus is less than that of nitrogen? No, it is a false statement. Why? Because melting point of phosphorus is higher than that of nitrogen because of its larger size. Second statement is, N2 is highly reactive while P4 is inert. This is again false. Why? Because nitrogen has triple bonds and triple bond is stronger than single bond. So, nitrogen does not react very rapidly because of its higher dissociation energy of these triple bonds. So this is also false. Third statement is nitrogen shows higher catenation. This is also false. Why? Because when we are considering catenation property, we discuss the strength of single bonds. And phosphorus single bond is stronger than that of nitrogen single bond. Why? Because nitrogen single bond is easily breakable because of its high interelectronic repulsions. We know that nitrogen has outermost electrons which are very close. Why? Because of its small size, and because of this high electronegativity and small size and resulting interelectronic repulsions, this bond is weaker. So the only statement that is true is D, that nitrogen bond is weaker than phosphorus single bond. Second question is, which of the following is a non-stoichiometric defect? So what are non-stoichiometric defects? In which the stoichiometry of the compound is affected. That is, it does not remain the same. So, and what is the stoichiometry? The ratio of positive and negative charge. So, for Frankel defect, it remains same. Why? Because just the cation is displaced from its original site to an interstitial site, but it still remains the same. Stoichiometry does not get affected. Second thing is Schottky defect, which is again a stoichiometric defect because the anion and cation are missing in the same number. The answer is C, metal deficiency defect, because metal deficiency defect results in non-stoichiometric defect. Why? Because the metal is deficient, that is the cation is missing from the sample, and so it affects the stoichiometry. And interstitial defect is again a stoichiometric defect just like the Frankel defect. The third question is, identify the law as stated. For any solution, the partial vapor pressure of each volatile component is directly proportional to its mole fraction. Which statement it is? It is for Raoult's law. Raoult's law states that for any state, let's say there are two volatile components A and B. So for each volatile component in the sample, its partial vapor pressure will be proportional to its mole fraction. And so the total pressure is the combination of these partial pressures. This is what Raoult's law states. So the answer is B, Raoult's law. Now let's discuss the fourth question. It states, pink color of LiCl crystal is due to which defect? Schottky defect, Frankel defect, metal excess defect and metal deficiency defect. The answer is metal excess defect. Why? Because in metal excess defect, due to anion vacancy, it creates a F center. And this F center results in 3 kind of properties to the solid, that is electrical conductivity, paramagnetism and color. So the color of crystal is due to these F centers, that is the electrons entrapped in the anion vacancy, and this is in metal excess defect. Next question is, which of the following has highest melting point? So when we are comparing the melting point of isomers among the ortho, para and meta isomers, this one is symmetrical. Para one is symmetrical, that is 1,4-dichlorobenzene is symmetrical, and so it has the highest melting point because symmetry leads to higher melting points. Next question is, which of the following is not explained by the open chain structure of glucose? So first let's see what is the open chain structure of glucose. Glucose has a total of 6 carbon atoms. And this is the structure for glucose. The first part is the formation of pentaacetate of glucose with acetic anhydride. This can be explained through it because this formation of pentaacetate with reaction with acetic anhydride is because of these 5 OH groups, and this statement implies that there are 5 OH groups in the structure of glucose, which can be seen from this open chain structure. Second part is formation of addition product with 2,4-DNP. 2,4-DNP is dinitrophenyl hydrazine. This can also be explained why, because this is a test given by the aldehyde group, and since aldehyde group is clearly here, so we can explain this through the structure. The third part is silver mirror formation with Tollens reagent, again a test given by the aldehyde group, so this can also be explained. The answer is existence of alpha and beta forms of glucose. This can only be explained through its cyclic structure, which is like this. Now for this C1 carbon, this is the C1 carbon, and when the oxygen OH group is here, this is beta, when CH2OH and OH are on the same side, and when they are on the opposite sign, this will be alpha, like this. This will be alpha. So these alpha and beta isomers can only be explained through this cyclic structure and not from this open chain structure. So the answer is D. The next question is, Williamson synthesis for preparing dimethyl ether is an example of. So when we know Williamson synthesis is for synthesis of ether. Let's say it is, we have to create this ROR dash. So let's say we are reacting RX with OR dash Na, and we know this will give ROR dash and NaX. This is the substitution reaction in one step. Why? Because for this RX, this is an alkyl halide, this OR dash group is acting as a nucleophile and coming and substituting for this X group, which is the leaving group, and so this is a substitution reaction, but this is a one-step process. So it's substitution nucleophilic bimolecular, which is again a one-step mechanism. So it's an SN2 reaction. The next question is, chlorine water loses its yellow color on standing because. Why does chlorine water loses? This is the reaction that takes place. Chlorine water on standing, that is in the presence of light, what happens is it forms hypochloride and HCl. So a mixture of HOCl and HCl is produced in the presence of light, and this is the right answer. During dehydration of alcohols to alkenes by heating with concentrated H2SO4, the initiation step is. Let's see what is the mechanism for the dehydration of alcohols. This is an example of beta elimination because the beta hydrogen is eliminated. The first step is the protonation of alcohol molecule, which takes place like, let's say we are taking an example of ethanol. CH3 CH2 OH. So the first step will be, since this reaction takes place in acidic medium, so this H plus will come and protonate this alcohol group. In the second step, this protonated alcohol, this is going to form into a carbocation. But how? This OH2, that is H2O, will leave and this will create a carbocation. In the third step, this carbocation, let's say this hydrogen is getting removed. So this hydrogen will give its electrons to this low bond and a double bond will be formed, that is an alkene will be formed and H plus will be released. So this is how the dehydration of alcohols take place, and the first step is the protonation of alcohol molecules, so A is the right answer. Then the 10th question is, amorphous solids are isotropic, anisotropic, isotopic and isomeric. The answer is they are isotropic. Isotropic is the property that states that, see, iso means same and trop means direction. So when we are measuring different physical properties like refractive index etc., and we are saying that we are measuring them along different directions and we get the same result, that means that it is isotropic, and amorphous solids are isotropic while crystalline solids are anisotropic. The 11th question is, which of the following is used to prepare salicylaldehyde? Salicylaldehyde is this OH and CHO. This is salicylaldehyde. Kolb's reaction is used to prepare salicylic acid, which is this OH and COOH. So this is not the answer. Itard reaction is for the preparation of benzaldehyde. Benzaldehyde is this. So this is also not the reaction. Riemer-Tiemann reaction is the right answer because it gives the salicylaldehyde as the final product. How? We react phenol in the presence of CHCl3 and aqueous NaOH. It gives us salicylaldehyde as the final product. So this is the reaction for Riemer-Tiemann reaction, and this is the final product, that is the salicylaldehyde. And again, Stephan reduction is for the preparation of aldehyde. So this is also not the answer. Let's come to question number 12. It states which of the following is an example of a solid solution, that is a solution of solid in solid. Seawater is an example of solid in liquid. So sugar solution is again an example of solid in liquid. Smoke is an example of solid in gas, while 22 karat gold is an example of solid in solid. So this is the answer because this is an alloy of solid. Next question is, the boiling points of alcohol are higher than those of hydrocarbons of comparable masses due to what? We know in alcohols hydrogen bonding is present, and it is like, this is an alcohol molecule. Let's say different alcohol molecules are present, and this is the hydrogen bonding, that this is the intermolecular hydrogen bonding that leads to higher boiling point of alcohol than those of its comparable hydrocarbons. So hydrogen bonding is the answer, A. Next question is, which of the following has lowest boiling point? Lowest boiling point, it is for H2S. Why? Because generally the boiling point decreases down the group, but H2O has exceptionally higher boiling point because of its hydrogen bonding present there in H2O. There is intermolecular hydrogen bonding, and so the lowest boiling point is for H2S. It is like down the group it increases, but after this, because this has exceptionally high boiling point. Next question is, which of the following is correct? Fibrous proteins are generally soluble in water. This is incorrect. Albumin is example of fibrous proteins. No, it's an example of globular protein. In fibrous protein, the structure is stabilized by hydrogen bond and disulfide bonds, which is again a false statement. The answer is pH does not depend, that the pH does not affect the primary structure of protein. This is true because pH affects the tertiary structure of protein. Tertiary structure is affected while the primary structure is not affected because tertiary structure has hydrogen bonds which are affected by the pH and not the primary structure because this is just the sequence of amino acid and it's not affected by the pH. That's it for today. Thank you.